Grigori Rasputin was a man shrouded in mystery. He was a peasant who rose to become one of the most influential figures in Russia. His influence over the Romanov family, particularly Tsarina Alexandra, sparked outrage. To his enemies, he was a dangerous charlatan. Rasputin's life was a tapestry of contradictions. He was revered by some as a holy man. Others saw him as a debauched and manipulative figure. This unlikely rise to power made him a figure of enduring fascination. Grigori Yefimovich Rasputin was born in 1869 in the small village of Pokrovskoye. This village is located in the Tobolsk Governorate of Siberia. Life in Pokrovskoye was harsh, and the young Rasputin experienced poverty and hardship. He received little formal education and spent his youth working the land alongside his fellow peasants. However, Rasputin was not content with a life of toil and hardship. He developed a reputation as a mystic and healer, claiming to have experienced divine visions. People were drawn to his charisma and apparent ability to heal the sick. Rasputin embraced a life of religious pilgrimage, wandering through Russia and beyond, seeking spiritual enlightenment. His travels exposed him to various religious traditions, shaping his unorthodox beliefs and practices. He believed in the power of experiencing God through intense spiritual and physical experiences, including both suffering and sin. Rasputin's reputation as a holy man spread, eventually reaching the ears of the Russian elite. His fame would ultimately lead him to St. Petersburg, the heart of the Russian Empire. It was here that he would cross paths with the Romanovs and change the course of Russian history forever. In 1905, Rasputin arrived in St. Petersburg. The city was a world away from his humble beginnings. The Russian capital was a place of immense wealth and power, but also of social unrest and political intrigue. The Romanov family, headed by Tsar Nicholas II, ruled over this turbulent empire. Their lives were about to become deeply entwined with that of the Siberian mystic. Tsarina Alexandra, desperate to find a cure for her son Alexei's hemophilia, summoned Rasputin to the court. Alexei, the heir to the throne, suffered from this incurable disease that prevented his blood from clotting properly. The Tsarina, a devoutly religious woman, saw Rasputin as a beacon of hope. She believed in his healing powers and his ability to alleviate her son's suffering. Rasputin's apparent ability to ease Alexei's symptoms earned him the trust and gratitude of the Tsarina. He became a close confidant, offering counsel and solace during a time of great anxiety. His influence over Alexandra grew, and he became a powerful figure within the royal court. As Rasputin's influence over the royal family grew, so too did the whispers of discontent among the Russian aristocracy. Rumors of his debauchery and unorthodox religious practices spread like wildfire. He was accused of everything from drunkenness and sexual misconduct to black magic and political manipulation. These accusations, whether true or exaggerated, further tarnished his reputation and fueled the growing opposition to his presence at court. The outbreak of World War I in 1914 only served to heighten the tensions surrounding Rasputin. With Nicholas II away at the front, Alexandra was left in charge of domestic affairs. Her reliance on Rasputin during this time of crisis alarmed many who saw him as a dangerous influence on the Tsarina. The war was going poorly for Russia, and many blamed Rasputin for their misfortunes. His enemies, convinced that Rasputin posed a threat to the stability of Russia, decided to take drastic action. A plot was hatched to eliminate the Siberian mystic, believing that his removal would restore balance to the empire. Little did they know their actions would have far-reaching consequences. History remembers Rasputin as a controversial figure. Some historians portray him as a manipulative charlatan, preying on the vulnerabilities of a desperate Tsarina. They argue that he exploited his position for personal gain, indulging in a life of luxury and excess. These accounts often highlight his alleged sexual escapades, portraying him as a deviant and a threat to moral decency. However, other scholars offer a more nuanced perspective. They argue that Rasputin was a complex figure, a product of his time and circumstances. They acknowledge his flaws, but also emphasize his genuine faith and his desire to help those in need. They point to his humble origins and his deep connection to the Russian Orthodox faith, suggesting that his actions were driven by a desire to serve God and his country. The truth about Rasputin likely lies somewhere between these two extremes. He was neither a saint nor a devil, but a flawed human being thrust into extraordinary circumstances. His story is a cautionary tale about the dangers of unchecked power and the destructive nature of rumors and suspicion. The night of December 16, 1916, marked the culmination of the plot against Rasputin. Prince Felix Yusupov, a member of the Russian aristocracy, invited Rasputin to his Moika palace. Yusupov, along with a group of co-conspirators, planned to eliminate the Siberian mystic once and for all. The details of that night are shrouded in mystery and contradiction. Accounts vary, but it is believed that Rasputin was first given poisoned food and wine. To the astonishment of his would-be assassins, the poison seemed to have no effect on him. Undeterred, the conspirators then shot Rasputin multiple times. Even after being shot, Rasputin continued to fight for his life, showcasing an almost superhuman resilience. Finally, his body, riddled with bullets, was dumped into the icy Neva River. The assassination of Rasputin sent shockwaves through Russian society. It was a desperate act of violence that revealed the deep divisions and paranoia that plagued the empire in its final years. Despite his brutal end, the legend of Grigori Rasputin did not die with him. If anything, his assassination only served to solidify his notoriety. The circumstances of his death, shrouded in mystery and whispered rumors, only added to the mystique surrounding his life. In the years since his death, Rasputin has become a fixture of popular culture, appearing in countless books, films, and songs. He's often portrayed as a villain, a larger-than-life figure who embodies the darkness and decadence of late imperial Russia. His name has become synonymous with mystery, intrigue, and the abuse of power. The legend of Rasputin continues to fascinate and horrify in equal measure. His story serves as a reminder of the power of belief and the fragility of power in the face of fear and suspicion. One of the most enduring questions surrounding Rasputin is the extent of his political influence. Did he truly hold sway over the Tsarina, dictating policy and manipulating power? Or was he merely a convenient scapegoat for the enemies of the Tsar? While Rasputin had access to the royal family, his true influence is still debated by historians. Some argue his advice contributed to the Tsar's disastrous decisions during World War I. Others maintain Rasputin's political role was minimal, focused on securing his own position. Blaming Rasputin for Russia's woes oversimplifies a complex historical period. Regardless of the extent of his political influence, Rasputin's presence at court undoubtedly contributed to the growing unpopularity of the Romanov dynasty. He became a symbol of everything that was wrong with the autocratic regime: the corruption, the inefficiency, and the disconnect between the ruling elite and the suffering masses. The February Revolution of 1917, which forced the abdication of Tsar Nicholas II, marked the end of centuries of Romanov rule. The provisional government that came to power promised sweeping reforms, including the establishment of a constitutional monarchy. However, the situation in Russia remained volatile, with various factions vying for control. In July 1918, the deposed Tsar and his family were executed by Bolshevik revolutionaries. The brutal murders of Nicholas, Alexandra, and their 5 children sent shockwaves throughout the world and marked a turning point in Russian history. The Romanov dynasty, once a symbol of absolute power, had fallen victim to the very forces of revolution and unrest that Rasputin had come to represent. Grigori Rasputin's life and death continue to fascinate and perplex historians and laypeople alike. He remains an enigma, a figure whose true motives and beliefs may never be fully understood. Was he a holy man, a charlatan, or something in between? Did he hasten the fall of the Romanovs, or was he merely a convenient scapegoat for a dynasty already on the brink of collapse? Rasputin's legacy is a complex one. He is both a cautionary tale about the dangers of unchecked power and a reminder of the enduring human fascination with mystery and the unknown. His story continues to resonate today, reminding us of the power of belief, the fragility of power, and the importance of critical thinking in the face of misinformation and propaganda. Whether he is remembered as a saint, a sinner, or something in between, one thing is certain: Grigori Rasputin's mark on history is indelible. His name will forever be linked with the tumultuous years leading up to the Russian Revolution and the fall of one of the most powerful dynasties in the world.